about music production as therapy, and not just talking. We're also going to do some music and experience. It is a kind of workshop with many people, so it'll be a taste of experience, but we start. So the first thing I want to talk about is, wait, the slide. My personal connection to this field, how I got to getting into music production. Actually, I believe that as a therapist, the instrument for my therapy is actually what I'm doing as a therapy, like what is my own therapy. This is what heals me, to make music and to express myself and to connect with people. So this is my gift as a therapist for other people. So I had like the vision of an urge to produce and to layer acoustic and electronic music. I started off playing piano, and then I started with a looper, so I had the vision of melodies on top of chords, and then I wanted beats, so then I got connected to a computer, and a DAW is an app for making music. It led me to investigate and to learn this field for my own fun and expression. And then slowly I began to put it inside the clinic. I work today mostly in my own private clinic, my studio. Before I worked with psychiatry, autism, many kinds of populations. Also older people with dementia, with groups. Truthfully, I went after my passion. And I believe passion is the most curative force for us as therapists. Also, I believe the recording studio is like a sacred space for practicing healing. Like when you enter a studio, so it's like you can experiment, you can explore, you can go deep inside this kind of space. And as I was mentioning, my therapy is my gift as a therapist. For me, as a therapist, I try to think of what are the essences of therapy. And you can each think for yourself. If you connect more, connect less. But this is like my connection. So first of all, therapy is a space to be. Just to be myself, freely to express myself, express many parts of myself inside a safe place. It's like I can be a child, and I have parents guarding me and giving me all I need, and I can be angry, I can be happy, I can explore, but it's safe to explore in that space. And therapy-wise, it happens within a meaningful relationship. I'm not alone, because a lot of times when I go to these places alone, it can be scary or frightening or not safe. So I have another person with me, guarding, directing, expanding who I am. And I wrote layering in an app because when I do this research by myself, the app kind of lets me build these kind of structures or support and not being alone when I have layers that I can play on or play with. So it's not a substitute for therapy, but it can support in my understanding. And liveliness, connecting to life forces, creativity, movement, music, play. It enriches me, enriches the people I work with to connect to life forces. And being lived experience more than knowledge. Like we can talk about therapy, we can understand therapy, we can understand ourselves, but when we experience something, we know it's there, we know it's true, we touch something deeper than talking about the thing. So this is something that music in general touches, but for me the studio expands this thing. So what is music production? By the way, this is a picture from my own studio that I work with, the clinic. So first of all, it's expanding an idea or inspiration emerging from the inner world. Like I have, music is a form of expression. So I have a feeling, I have a thought, I have a song, I have something I want to expand, and actually giving it life with a melody, color, sound. It's another layer of music. You can take like a song, and it's you can say naked. Okay, I have the chords, I have the lyrics, I have the melody, but then the production comes and gives it a whole new color, a whole new space. You can decide to build up the arrangement of the song and what it transmits, other than not the simple, but the other part of the song. It's not that simple. Fulfilling and precising our inner stories with the production. What color do I want to give, to put out into the world, what feeling I want to transmit other than the melody or the harmony or the lyrics. Balancing between focus and letting go of textures. You can get very lost if you ever tried musical production with many sounds and many layers and many options. So then I have to balance focus on what is me, what I am not, what I choose, what I am. So this is the kind of practice that happens in musical production. And then there's the beauty of complexity versus the beauty of simplicity. I can put more layer, more sounds, or more effects, or more things, and then I can just take a piano or a guitar and voice and record it, and it can be beautiful by itself, and explore and move between these elements. Technically speaking, for those who have this is new for them, so it's working with a computer. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, a sound card, microphones, and controllers. Controllers actually control the computer, so it's more intuitive, it's more easy to work with, other than working on a computer. You can record audio, you can record MIDI, which is a digitalized form of music notes. Use drum kits. Samples or editing audio files, and I'm just saying this because it expands the regular use that at least I know most music therapists work with. Like you take some kind of file, you edit it, you cut audio, you play with the audio. So it's another actually instrument. We are working on the timeline, and we'll see when we go to the app. Layering musical parts, we work with layers, like we can play one part and another part and then another part, and then play with them. Editing, duplicating, cutting audio, mixing and using sound effects, sound design and sound manipulation. This is another field that some people are drawn to, making sounds, playing with sounds, the maker of new sounds. And I think I talk enough for now, so I'm gonna make some music now, some kind of demonstration about how it goes. So I'll go to the piano. Okay. Okay. Hey. Okay, this is Ableton Live. This is the app I work with, just so you know. So I start. Yeah, okay. So this was like a short demonstration of, you know, what music production can help or open in the making of music. And now I'm gonna open a new project, and I want to. By the way, how many of you work with production? If you can raise your hand, know musical production. So I know who I'm talking to. Yeah, raise your hand. So I see. Some people debating, you know, a little, I don't know if to raise my hand or not. Okay, and how many, this is like the first time they see this world and how it goes? Please raise your hand. Okay, so most of you know a little bit about it. Okay, great. How many know what MIDI is? Everybody. That's fantastic, because in Israel, people don't know too much about it. So that's fantastic. Okay, so I thought of like demonstrating. I'm opening a new project, a preset which I have for working in production, and I thought of showing an example of how it's done. But I think most of you probably know. So let's try to experience. So I thought we build together here, improvise a new composition. This is actually layers. We have piano, we have beat, we have bass, we have strings, we have more sounds like some kind of trance harp, guitar, pads, and maybe somebody wants to try to make us the beat. Like I thought I tried to invite each time a different person to make a different part of the track. Okay? So somebody wants to try to make the beat part of the track? Yeah, give him a round of applause. Yeah. So what's your name? Mose. Yeah. Okay, great. So this is it's hard for people to see. It's hard for me to raise it. This is a push, if some people know or not know. It's a controller for Ableton. It's a controller for Ableton, and it has 16 pads, and then there are some sounds that I put in. You can try to explore and check, and we record with a metronome, so we have a click. That's it. Yeah, it's working. Okay. And you can choose your tempo over there. Like over there on the left, we can see the tempo. So now it's 96 BPM, 95. Okay. And yeah, you can explore. And while Mose is exploring, at some point, probably he'll get some kind of beat. Maybe we choose like 2 or 3 sounds for the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you want to record it? Yeah, okay, so I give you a metronome. First practice with the metronome. This is the tempo if you want slower or faster. A bit faster, yeah. Like that. Or more fast? We're going techno? Yeah. Okay. I put fixed length so you have 2 bars, yeah? When you record. Yeah. And when you're ready, you press here, stop it, and then you press record, it will give you 4 count, and then record. Go. Yeah, it's recording. You can let go. Okay. And then I'm going to do quantize, so it sets all the MIDI in the right spot. Okay, this is your beat, yeah? Okay, so round of applause for Marwan. Yeah. And who wants to give us some bass line? Come on, bass line, okay.
Is it on there?
Yeah, it's all, you can do it on the piano if you like, or on the pads. Yeah, okay. More exciting, yeah. Wait just a moment. Yeah, but we need, this is great, but just we need to know for the next harmony part, which harmony, I'll figure it out. Okay, so. And we can go lower octaves so we have more bass notes. Yeah, so yeah. When you're ready, so tell me, and then we put record. Yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, go. It's okay if you make mistakes. We can edit. We can delete. Okay, we do it one more time, because this is my bad, because I did fixed length, and then we want free, okay. Yeah, okay. Nice bass, nice groove, okay. And then maybe we add some, this is like, well, let's figure out what key this is. This is like, okay, E, M, F, something like that, okay. Okay, let's go. So who wants to make some piano chords accompany that? It's like E, M, F, something like that. Or, yeah, let's do. Okay, round of applause. You wanted to make pads or piano?
I think a pad is nice.
Yeah, so I have like strings or voices here. You want to check the voices, how it sounds? Wait, we lower this one. So you can play it, feel it a little bit, and when you're ready to record, you tell me. Okay, go. Okay, now I was late finishing that, so I'm gonna cut it, drop it. Okay, great, thanks. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think? We have enough layers, or we put another one? What? What is it? So what do you think? More. Okay, let's do one more. So, okay, so I want somebody that has now inspiration. I haven't prepared for this. That who said yes? Yeah, you said yes, right? Or somebody else that said yes. what inspiration you have for another layer. Yeah? So,
something squelchy.
squelching?
Squelchy.
Bruh, like that? You challenge me to find this sound online, something squelchy.
Or if it's there, like the up.
The arp. Okay, let's go for the arp. Okay, it's not squelchy, it's a different vibe, but you want to try? Yeah, come on. Okay.
Somebody else had their hand.
Okay, a round of applause. Yeah. So, this is a sound I like very much. You're welcome to try it. We're on EM. One, two, three, go. Great. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay, after the squelchiness, I'm gonna try out something that I didn't plan on trying, but I think it will be very cool with the sound. So, because most of you already know a little bit about music production, so we have like all kinds of sound effects that we can use, and this is one kind of plugin that I found. That I like very much. Wait. Yes. Okay, so this guy is like building a tension, like we're on a party or something like that. And then we have this beat. This is another element we can use in production. We have all kinds of nice plugins that we can put in and play with the music, and it's fun, it's welcoming, it's expressive, and I think this is, for me, what music is mostly about. And now, for the last person I'd like to invite, maybe to play some kind of solo on top of the melody we made. It could be violin, it could be piano, it could be a flute sound. So, who feels like coming up for that? It's short, it doesn't have to be long. Okay. Yeah, let's go. What? Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's hard to play standing, no? Yeah. What's your name, please? Zemi? Zoe. Okay, so what sound do you like to try? Piano, violin? Sing! Ah, of course, of course, of course. Yeah, I thought you said sing. That would be amazing. Wait, we have a little feedback here. Okay. You wanted to see if it's going out? Good?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. You have a little bit effect, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, okay. Wow, it was really exciting that you sang, and I think how we make this piece online, improvise it together, it could be inspiration also for maybe group work or something like that with people or with friends, whatever you like. Okay, so thank you all for participating in this. And I thought of sharing with you some clinical case that I worked with production. Jamie, I think this is a little feedback. Can you take this a little bit down? Or maybe it's the mic. No, it's this mic. Okay, you can put it up again. Okay, thanks. Okay. So this is like a... oh, wait. Yeah, this is always working with technology. We have also always technology issues, tech issues. I stand, yeah, so everybody can see me. So this is like a clinical production case. This is somebody I work with for 2.5 years. But, his name was, we can go with Jay, and he was 16 when we started to see each other, to meet. He lives in a small town in Israel. His dad works in computer, his mom is a psychologist. His sister is diagnosed with clinical depression, and he started therapy because his parents felt he was stuck and he couldn't create meaning in his life and persist with projects, and they need somebody to assist and help him. Musically, he was an electric guitar player with some good experience. He studied sound in high school and theater, and had a very strong connection to music. And actually, it was hard for him to get to finish things. It was hard for him to create meaning, to create friends. He functioned in a basic way, pretty basic, but not other than that. It was like in regular school, or regular, not psychiatric or something like that. And when we met, so he chose to divide our sessions to like talking time and music time. Also in my studio, I have like more talking space with the sofa, which we can also make more intimate music, and then there's the more production space with the instruments and all the mics and the things. So we started out over there usually, and then we moved. This was his decision, moved to the music making area. And he did want to have an outcome. It was important for him to write his own music, to produce something of his own, to go out with something. But it was hard for him to persist with the same project or practice or make it done like after a session or 2 or 3 he moved on to a different thing, and I just reflected it, and we continued on this journey together. Musically, he comes from the genres of rock, but he also was open to hip hop, and he liked to explore also sound design. Like he wanted to make a whole musical piece from sounds recorded with glass. So we would tap on the glass with a condenser mic that would pick up the sounds and manipulate the sound and sample the sounds and try to build beats from the glass and explore that. But as I said, he never finished his compositions, but throughout our meetings, a good relationship was forming between us through this work. And after 2 years of therapy, before I finished high school, we decided to start to meet for 2-hour sessions for another half a year, to have more time to work and support him before he finishes high school and goes to the next phase of life. Also, his mom has suggested it, and I thought it would be a good idea, and this is what we did. And then one day he came out with a text he wrote, and he wanted to record it in a hip-hop style. So I thought of sharing a part of the text because it's a long text with you. And it goes like this. So yeah, I know I got a lot of pent-up shit to say. Don't tell me what to know, this is the last you hear from me, okay? I got tons of problems and issues I've been battling and spinning through. My life's pretty fucking boring, I ain't got much shit to tell you, dude. Yeah, it's ironic, moronic, and chronic what I just said to you. You do be knowing I ball all that shit up inside me, you do? All these voices in my head tell me to slip, drop, and fall. I drink some liquor, smoke dope just to cope. Did you get that all? I keep on running and punching and finding my way out. You see the marks on my fist, there ain't no reason to talk about. I get this is the type of shit you write to get folks' attention. Guess the more I think about, the less I see the original intention. Time's racing, I'm still young. Ain't got nothing to worry about cause we ain't close to done. So why think about all that BS? Ain't got answers to your questions, no need to guess. And then this is the chorus. Why do I not care about anything? Life ain't always fair, but still I live it. Don't think about it again. Don't trip yourself out. It's gonna be a while till it ends. So make the most of it. And then there's more text, but we won't go into it now. So he came out with this song already written like whole, one part, not too many adjustments, not too many doing with it. And then what do we do with it? So it was important for him to record by himself most of the musical parts, to own it, like that it was his and not something that I did for him. I suggested a couple of melodies, a couple of things, but then the final recording of the part he wanted to do, it was very important for him. And then after much exploration, he decided to go with some piano line. I'll show you in a minute. And then we added the drums, bass line, and started building the structure, the production. So I thought of opening up the app and sharing with you a little bit of the process. So this was done in a different DAW called Logic. So you can see. Okay. So so this is Logic. By the way, who works with GarageBand? This is very similar to GarageBand. It's the same Apple app. And this was the piano line we started working with. The chords and the MIDI. And then adds the bass. The drum part, one of the drum parts. Who works with the GarageBand probably knows you can manipulate the drums and play with them, add the different parts of the drums, intensity, very easily with it. So this was like the basic part of the song, how it started to build, with this piano, the bass, the drum. And then he also wanted to add like some kind of solo with it's called heavy metal organ. It sounds like some kind of guitar distortion, and it goes like this. Speaking of technical issues, every time I have to switch the display so you can also see. Okay, we go to the PowerPoint and then we go to the app. Okay, now after that we started working on the text of the recording. After we have the music going, so we started working on the text. And this was very powerful sessions working on the text, because this guy didn't sing before professionally, and of course he didn't hip hop or rap before, and it requires some kind of technique. So we worked about 4 long sessions of pronouncing the text, and actually we divided the text to verses of 4, practicing each verse separately to get the right expression he wanted with the microphone. And it was like repeating one row or one paragraph for about 20 minutes. And for him this was totally something new. He never done it before, to go very deep and practice on this kind of thing, row after row after row, to get the paragraph right. It was hard for him, and he was like cursing, and but he kept on going and doing it, and actually he made it pretty good. We will listen to it together afterwards, and then recording it with a good mic and earphones in the studio, and then also the processing of the audio. So there were some parts that he chose. It was his idea to put autotune. Autotune is like a plugin that is supposed to correct the pitch, but he didn't want it for the pitch correction, but for the hip-hop sound effect. It sounds like a toy effect or something like that. And then the right amount of the autotune, how many percent on the voice. It was very important for him to explore it. And so we have like the verse in one kind of song and the chorus in a different kind of sound for the voice. And then he wanted to add some backing sounds, some special. He came up with sounds I didn't know, like 808 bass or all kinds of things. So we tried to find these sounds and put it inside the project together. Near final stages, we almost didn't finish the project. He kept on adding, wanting to add more parts and precise the voice and the singing. So, and we discovered that he had this thing of like moving from 0 to 100. Like if it's not perfect, so I won't do it. I won't touch it. And he was a very talented guy. He was a very smart guy. But why couldn't he make things down and build things in his life? And we discovered this was some part of the issue. I don't remember the name in English, but I remember when I was in my bachelor's, in my first degree. So in one of the lectures, somebody said that the biggest thing that makes depression is self-perfectionism. And because I'm always up to being perfect, and then I don't like myself, or I won't do it because it's not perfect. And I think this is a part of his story. And we discovered that this is a big part of, he said, what was holding him back for doing things, for finishing projects. And then when we came almost to not finishing it, it like came into the room, into the therapy, this issue. So I reflected this to him that we had like 2 or 3 sessions before we had to finish because he needed to move to the next part of his life. I said, we can go into this sound right now, we can make this verse a little better, but then the project won't come out, you won't have the song down. And I let him choose what he wanted to, and he did choose to put it out. I have to say, I had a conflict, like as a therapist, should I direct more and guard him at this point, say, no, we're doing this, we're not going into this, or go with him and go with the sound exploration a bit more. But we were like 2.5 years into therapy. I felt confident enough to give a tone at that point, though not too fierce. And then he chose to let go of the ideal perfection and not be the 100%, but 90 or 95 is good enough, so we can let it out and finish. And then he decided to upload the song to YouTube, and this is, I think it's a whole therapeutic process by itself, uploading a song to YouTube. How do I want to put it out? What is the visual? Is it public? Is it private? Many therapeutic questions around it. We worked on the title, the description, the visual image, the design. And then after 6 months, he had the song out. And this is the song in YouTube. This is a photo he took by himself with a special trip he had with his father to the desert before he finished high school. And this is the cover of the song. And then when we reflected, when we finished, so he said, I learned not to give up, and that I don't need to fear not reaching the 100% and freeze, but rather walk step by step towards what I want. I know better who I am and who I am not, and I truly trust that I'll manage the next part of my life. And this is, of course, my interpretation, but I feel that he strengthened his ego powers and his ability to believe in himself and accomplish his goals. Through our sessions and the use of music production, he could express his inner story with words and music. And the production process has been a very meaningful milestone in his life. And now he has something out in the world which he's proud of. He can show people he has accomplished. he walked the process. He said, I know now about walking a process, so I can do it again in my life. And today is already 3 months after high school, and we don't see each other, but we had like a small WhatsApp chat, and he said that he feels good as friends, he knows himself better, so I'm happy with that. And now let's listen to the whole piece. I put it on Logic on the app. By the way, up here you see this is the 4 tracks of vocals, each one with a different sound. 3 actually.
So yeah, I know I got a lot of shit to say. Don't tell me what to know, but I see it from me, okay? I got a ton of problems and issues I'll be bad and spinning through. My life's pretty fucking boring too, don't much shit to tell you to do. It's ironic, moronic, and funny what I just said to you. You do be knowing the bullshit I've been inside me to do. All these voices in my head telling me slip, drop, and fall. I drink some liquor, smoke up just to go BB it all. I keep on running, bunch of fun on way out. You see the marks on the first ways to talk about. I get this is the type shit where to get folks' attention. Guess them all think about this, I can see the original intention. Time is racing, I'm still young. Ain't gonna offer the royal cause we don't get it done. So why I think about all the BS? Ain't gonna ask a stupid question, son, no need to guess. Why do I not care about anything? Life ain't always fair, but still I live it. Don't think about it again. Don't trip yourself up. It's gonna be a while till it ends, so make the most of it. Yeah, I ain't done, I'm started. Black smoke coming from my lungs, kinda retarded. I swear a lot, no need for conflict. Gotta cook up a stuff enemy, forget this subject. So don't ask me for favors, I can't help it at the time. I still do my life, I get back a track, it's a marathon. Next time you just tell me to be positive. Maybe we'll experiment in the beginning, repetitive. Years of therapy, shit don't make sense. Maybe I need to deal with my issues and not be absent. Yeah, we're halfway there. Still with the head of the sun and I see it, so just don't care. Starting in random words and sentences. Just finished high school, didn't learn a feelings. Just nigga, just guess it's about time to finish my stage or song or whatever. All I know is I'm a rat face of time and fucking lost forever. So why do I not care about anything? Life ain't always fair, but still living. Don't think about it again. Don't trip yourself out. It's gonna be a while till it ends. Make the most of it. So why do I not care about anything? Life ain't always fair, still a living. Don't think about it again. Trip yourself up. It's gonna be a while till it ends. Make the most of it. Make the most of it. Just don't care. That's right, coach, yeah, don't care. Savings on the way, but I don't care. Running to the runs, why don't care? So Swim into the ocean, don't care. Real salmon oxygen, don't care. Get fucked when I still fuck giving. Fuck, I don't care. Don't fucking stop running, jumping, punching and running and punching and breathing out to the beat, really air out. And stop.
Yeah, it was meaningful journey together. Yeah, I think working with teenagers is really, really into music production. Not only, but it's very powerful to work with them because it's expressive, it's their language. So I thought of after some kind of we experienced live, we experienced the studio production, to talk a little about some of the benefits or theory about using music production in therapy. By the way, this is a picture from I worked with in a youth religious youth high school. There were only boys at that high school, and they had like a music room, but they didn't have production in the music room. So I just brought the small keyboard, this one, and the computer and the sound card, and then I have production. And then these youth, like 16, 17, 18, they come to the therapy, and cool, this is my therapy. I don't have to talk about things. I can make songs, music. Of course, they did talk about things, but not because they had to, but because they wanted to in the connection or inside the process. So this is a picture from that room that I worked with. So one of the major advantage I see involving music production therapy is the motivational aspect. First of all, it's cool, and it's fun, doing fun stuff and cool stuff. And you know, when we're doing therapy, it's usually heavy stuff, and when it's cool or welcoming, so it's much easier to touch heavy stuff with cool stuff, I think. And it invites mutual collaboration, working on something together, like we did right now together on this. Like you came and you came, and we did all kinds of things together. So I think a lot of people have resistance for therapy, or they don't want to come. I worked at that place with somebody that he, like 1 year, he threw away about 4 therapists, and he came just because of the music, and he stayed for a whole year. Another person that we worked on a production together. So I think the motivational aspect is very important when we're talking about therapy, to recruit the patient. There's an abundance of super high quality sounds that we can use nowadays, like this violin, so was recorded in some kind of studio at very high quality, and I could never play this violin by myself, and at this quality of sound, and so it opens up to more opportunities of sounds for playing when we use production in therapy, using new music instruments, using like you wanted, how you call it, bloop, the squish. Squelch. Yeah, so we can't produce it analogy, or maybe we could with all kinds of electronic equipment, but so this opens up to world of sounds and expressions. Also, we have the technological aspect that, come on, it's the natural language in 2022. We all are on our smartphones or the computers all the time. And this is like the language, and it opens up people that don't know anything about music for making music with the pads. Also, it enables recording layers using sound effects, drum machines, sound design. And also quantize. Quantize is putting like let's say we're not machines, so I play something and it's not right on the beat, but I press the button or play with the MIDI notes, and then it puts them on the beat. And for many patients, it could be helpful to listen to a good outcome of what they did and to help them adjust things. Of course, it matters what is the therapeutic goal, if it's to see myself not perfect or to help them feel better, but this is for each case. Accessibility. Anyone can play music using the control pads. It's very easy. You can adjust the right musical key for the client on the push or on any other programs. You can choose a pentatonic scale or a minor scale. So it makes music more accessible. Also, it opens up to multicultural worlds of sounds. I can use rock, I can use hip hop, I can use ethnic sounds, classical sounds. At that place with youth, I work with an Ethiopian guy, and we used the sounds from his world, and we did something very meaningful with these sounds, which I couldn't do without the app, or it was more hard. Some dynamics expansions. So, for me at least, it's expanding the music child, the playfulness. The richness of sound and visual invites playfulness and creativity. It's a visual form of music. I click, I see what I'm doing. It makes the game more interesting a little bit. It facilitates play and moments of being. And there's many options for play. You could play with sound design, you could play with sound effects, you could create beats for grounding, while improvising for improvisation. So also there's a difference between playing live versus editing. So there's many options working with music technology, an app. And I feel that it's also expanding the third musical space. Like, we don't have to talk about it, we can work on the app on it. Of course, it is always there in music therapy, but there's something about working on the computer that is even more distinct, even more far, and then I can put myself a little more into it, and we're still together in the space. And of course, relationship is forming while we're producing, while we're working on the music, on the computer, we're talking about the process. So there's many ways of forming relationship while working on it. By the way, if you like, so you can give me your mail afterwards, I can send you the PowerPoint. Because it's a visual form of music, so there's a visual mirror for inner forms and developments. The client can see his music, and parts of the client can see his music. It's like this ADHD guy that he goes from 0 to 100, and then he plays the pads and goes and then you open up the MIDI and you actually visualize his inner world, how it acts. I showed his parents and they were like, whoa. So I think this is another expansion. And while working on the production, I can choose the parts of the self I want to expand versus parts of the self that I want to let go in the production. Like I see myself and I want to be that, or I choose to be something else. I want to expand to a different part of myself or of the world. So it helps to like as a mirror to see myself. Also, when going out with music or even playing together, I can choose part of the self that I externalize versus parts of the self that I don't want to let out. Like I can say horrible things, but I won't put it out on the production, and there's a place for that and for that inside the process. Another thing is that it can be a long process. The production project could be a container for inner processes. For example, we work like half a year on that project. I have clients that we work for a whole year on a single project, and this is harder to do when not working on production. Production enables to make the process a little bit longer. It's like a container for long working projects. Of course, we have the product, documentation of the music, documentation of the process, and the client can choose if he wants to share it and how he wants to share it, if to send an MP3 file for himself, if it's a kid for his parents, if to put it on YouTube, if not. So we have some kind of pretty good quality product for the music. And another advantage is that while working online on the Zoom, it's very helpful, in the COVID times. So playing music together obviously does not work online because of the latency, but when we're working on production, I share the screen, I share the audio, and the client gets high quality audio from the studio, and then he can tell me, play this, or add that, or cut that, or put that, or I can suggest melodies for him, and then we can work on far away, online. So this is something I found helpful. Another thing is Cbt and Executive Functions. Because the app works on bars and structure and beats, so somebody he wants it to sound good when he's working on a project, and he plays, and then he hears that it's not on the beat, it's not good, so he needs to practice to put it on the beat, or that it's 4, 8, 16, like that, and try to get himself into the structure of the music, not because he has to, but because he wants to. He wants it to sound good for himself. So this is another motivational aspect. Building the structure of the project, like I have some idea, I started, and then I want it to sound good. So how does it start? How does it finish? What happens in the middle? What's the development? So this is all things that help. If this is a therapeutic goal, of course, it helps the structure to work on the structure and on the function. Editing the parts, precising and balancing the music. And of course, working on the music is actually working on these aspects of the client's life. Whatever we do, we can take this energy or this form and implement it in other fields in our life. And it is our job, the therapist's job, to balance and adapt the project for the client's capabilities and the therapeutic needs. Let's say somebody can't play on time, so let go of the metronome, let go of the beat, and just play free and do whatever is capable of, or whatever the therapeutic goal is. So we need to be open, and it's like we set the setting for the meeting. So this is a big part of the setting, how we arrange the app, what is the presets, what is the sounds that are available. It's part of that. And another advantages that I found is navigating life in the digital era. We are all the information, all the possibilities, all the sounds, all the beats. It's very easy and attractive, but only at the first glance. Yeah, okay, press the button, it sounds good, cool. But then when I get a little deeper inside, so I need to work hard to get the results I want. I need to persist, and it develops persistence, delaying the need for immediate feedback of success, handling frustration, self-order, self-organization within the music and in the creation process. It also involves practicing balance between the inner world and the outer world, all the musical elements that I'm working on, changes versus stability in the music and the energy I want to put in my music, and of course much more. It's a whole world. It helps learn about creative processes, that you have to go in creative processes through trial and error. You have to fail in order to succeed. There's many frustrations in the path. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes patience. And this is a pretty fun and cool way, I think, to go through this process of making music. Like, I work with this guy. He's a 19-year-old former prisoner dealing with ADHD and learning hardships, and also a music creator and DJ. And he said, I worked for 2 hours just to get the right kick sound I wanted from a track. And this is a guy that jumps from this to that, to that, to that. He was in prison, he was that. He sat for 2 hours just to get the right kick for his track. So this is very meaningful for me to hear. And I see music production as an analog to producing life. How do I arrange my life? What do I put in my life? What I don't put in my life? Where I invest energy? What outcome I want or not want? So I really see it as a philosophical way of looking about life, producing my life. And now we have some time for a discussion and questions. Before we go into that, I have this online course, music production for music therapists. So if you're interested, you're welcome to write me, and I'll give you. Actually, I don't have all the details to give you because it's not set already for international community, but I will do that. So we have some time for questions. Finishing with music, but I want to leave some time for discussing questions.
This is a security announcement. Can anyone who has picked up a guitar from 1875 please return it to the main reception? Thank you.
Is that about it?
What?
Is it working?
Yeah, I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was really
interesting, insightful. It's obviously a very long process you presented, and thinking about younger children who maybe don't have that attention span but really into this thing, would you have a kind of process, you know, how much can you simplify and shorten it? Is it just about reducing the number of elements you put in, and how much can you do in a short period of time?
What do you mean a short period of time, and what age children you said?
So I'm thinking of a child particularly that's 9 and quite ADHD kind of profile as well, so doesn't separate things, and I can imagine.
So a child who's about 9 with ADHD profile and does sort of chop and change quite a lot, and then also the children in the school, you might only have a term with them or 10 weeks, that kind of thing. So how much, I suppose I'm thinking about ethically starting something that might actually be a bigger process, or do you find it if you put those parameters on it?
Well, I always say that production or it's just an instrument that we use as therapists. It's not a goal. So we always have to think about what is the therapeutic goal and then adjust it to use with the instruments. And this is another instrument. But you know, if you could do it like if you want to go for recordings, so you could just record your sessions or record something together and then listen together, and maybe it can expand his attention span when he listens to himself or sees himself, or play the pads, the control pads, as another instrument that is cool and that is attractive to, and see like on the app what he's playing, and then it can maybe broaden his attention span. So.
So thinking more about process rather than product.
Yeah, I think if you have 10 or 12 weeks therapy, anyways, it's more of a process than a project.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, please.
I was just wondering if you've ever found that music production or tech has ever become a barrier between the relationship between you and a client, either musically or emotionally or mentally or whatever, and how you've overcome that, if it is.
That's a good question. But I think, you know, as a therapist, as a musician, like setting up all this, I feel it's kind of barrier between me and you, this table and this, in some sort of way. But then again, I have to use this in order to show what I'm showing. So I think many things can be barriers, and it's up to you as a therapist to navigate between them. Because it's about the connection. It's just in the room. It's like you're holding a guitar. It can be a barrier. So the computer is it's another seminar to talk about when kids or people go to YouTube and get stuck on YouTube. So, but it's again how you handle it as a therapist, I think.
Hello. You've shown us 2 doors. You've used 2 doors during a presentation. And no. Yes. There are obviously lots and lots of apps out there for various types of music production, music creation. How do you draw a boundary around the possibilities that are out there versus what your clients might need versus what you're sufficiently competent to do it transparently? Because I'm learning Ableton and I'm finding it really challenging. And one will be enough for me. One door will be enough for me.
Yeah. First of all, I think what is more important in the way I see it is what you connect to as a therapist, before a therapist, as yourself. What you enjoy playing with, because like you play guitar and you enjoy guitar and you don't play piano, so you don't learn a piano just to bring it to therapy, but you use your guitar, right? So it's the same with this, with the DAW, a DAW you connect to and a DAW you feel comfortable with. It's very important. I think if you're using Ableton, it's more than enough because it has everything. I was using another DAW because it's not very important, but Ableton is perfectly fine for all, I think. And if you're talking about other DAWs, then it depends what are the capabilities and what is the needs for you as a therapist in the room. But I think if you use Ableton, it is a bit hard to learn, I can understand, but once you master it, so it has everything inside.
Thank you. First of all, I think it's really interesting what you told, but I just had one question. You said that as one of the advantages that you don't need to work live, that you can do it online. But I was wondering, because when you work online, I think you rely heavily on verbal reflection. How you do it with patients who are not as verbal or who don't have the possibilities. I was wondering.
You rely about what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
That when you work online, that you rely on the verbal reflection a lot. Sorry. That you rely on verbal reflection a lot, and I was wondering when you work, for example, I work with patients with intellectual disabilities, and they are really interested in creating. But I was wondering if you can do it online or if you thought about it.
I think people who are, let's say, more disabled or more like intellectual disabilities, I don't know if it would work online because they would need a lot of assistance and help for that, and it loses a lot of the connection and potential. Yeah, I think first it has to fit to work with somebody online in general, and then you can use that. But I think generally this is a population that I would write. It's less appropriate to work online with. I think, no? Or how did you experience it?
I'm experiencing difficulties. With
yeah, I
working
think
online.
so.
So I just wanted to hear if you had any tips or.
You know, if you could, like, if you could do games together, so it could be a kind of game, another game that you could do together online, where you share the screen or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. It was really inspiring.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I was wondering because actually it is pretty, as you said yourself as well, like DAW, like Ableton is very, it takes a lot of time to understand how it works and how you can actually use it. So how do you approach that working with like people who don't have any idea about DAWs, or like do you have a lot of time and energy you put in educational work, like to teach them how to work with it, or is it more like you provide that for them?
Yeah, it's more like the second one. Most of the times, it's more like I'm a channel or a provider, yeah, for the music, for the client. Like, you know, somebody doesn't play guitar or piano, and then you play the song, or you help them compose or whatever. But if, again, it depends what is the therapeutic need. Like, maybe he wants to perform, so we go in the process of learning this or learning that, or also the art of simplifying things for the client, for the needs of the meeting. And then what is important and what is not for this client in this meeting, in that manner. Yeah, we don't go into learning Ableton unless this is something that he wants and we do in the therapy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks. Yeah. So we almost need to finish. Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a question online as well. I don't know if you want to take that.
And you, how do you navigate the ethical and consent issues for clients who want to put the trust just safety. How do you navigate ethical and consent issues for clients who want to put the tracks on YouTube? Is there a particular stance you take to ensure the safety of clients? This is, I think this is an issue for another seminar, putting things on YouTube. This is a big, big issue. If the client wants to put something on YouTube, it depends who is the client, how can he judge for himself, is he compatible or not. But if it's a person who can judge for himself, so I upload it from his YouTube account and not mine, and then it's like something he did and he do, and it's his consent. If he's not compatible to decide for himself, so probably not, or talk with his parents or something like that. But this is the whole issue, uploading to YouTube. And Suzanne, your question?
Yes, I have one last question regarding the text of the song. How do you cope with subjects coming up that are important for the client, and it's issues like self-harm, discrimination, something like that? Because maybe you can't just read the text and start recording the song. There's
Well, I think as in any therapeutic clinic, so you make an assessment of if it's dangerous or if he needs any other help. If there's a psychiatrist involved, so you can work with him and check with him that he assesses. But for this particular patient, I didn't feel that he was in danger to himself in a dangerous way. I just felt he was expressing what he was feeling, and then that was therapeutic for him to express it.
Yuval, thank you so much.
Okay.
Really, I think the number of people who've been in the room indicates how interested we are to say. I've been really struck by just combining this really serious therapeutic intention and depth of work with these very remarkable and endlessly diverse resources. I think it's been a really exciting and eye-opening session. So thank you very much indeed.
So feel free to stay if you have any questions. I'm here if you want to chat. And you can mail me if you want more info. And thank you.